Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Your average SD pool player here. And today we are going to do a fun practice session with my first time doing some commentary throughout the entire video. Crazy. So if you're not tired of my voice already, this video is not for you. But I do implore you to stay and watch because it's kind of nice. It's a great way to get a little bit of insight of how I view the game, and I know that's something that some of y'all have been asking, so here you are. You ask and you shall receive. So if that's kind of how you roll, then go ahead and like this video if you like content like this. Continue to leave comments or send feedback regarding what kind of content that you guys would like to see on the channel, or kind of how you just like this video, and subscribe so that you don't miss any of the videos that come onto the channel, and we can continue to grow and foster this little YouTube community of average pool players. With that being said, let's go play some pool. Hey guys, welcome back to the channel and welcome to this practice session of some 9-ball racks. We're going to start off here by looking at what we have ahead of us. No real problem balls in this rack, but I did mess up already on this position. I'm off angle on this too, so I'm going to have to do a little bit with the cue ball to at least get back in line. Not afraid to let the cue ball travel a little bit. Still give myself a little bit of an angle to get across for the 4. You know, I'm not the tallest person, so the bridge is going to be my friend. But luckily, I'm pretty proficient with the bridge. My rule of thumb is to try and keep the stroke to a minimum and get the bridge as close as possible to the cue ball so that you don't need so much action to get a lot of movement on that cue ball. So just literally pushing it with a little bit of left English, and we got there. Center of the table is going to be your best friend and my best friend. If ever I feel a little bit unsure as to where I need to put my cue ball, I always tell myself, can I get it back to the center of the table, and can I get it to the correct side of the next ball so that I can easily go to the following ball. So I have a nice natural angle here to just pocket the 5, maybe put a little bit of left English to help guide it back down towards that 6 on the bottom rail. Pretty easy to just kind of stroke that as is. You can go far, you can go short, as long as you maintain an angle on the 6, but the 7's in a pretty wide open place on the table, so any angle can work. Again, I'm guiding this cue ball back towards the center of the table. I use the 9 ball as a bit of a target and told myself I just need to get above the 9 ball. Got a good angle on the 7 to come up 2 rails for the 8, back again towards the center of the table. And what you'll notice is a lot of these shots are fairly similar, so repetition is kind of nice. So that's why I love to throw these racks out and just play them as simple as they are. They still require some kind of thought process to it. Hitting that second rail right there so that I can definitely keep that shot on that 9. That I missed. I miss. Important life lesson there. Yeah, exactly. Thumbs down. Is that, you know, you can go through the whole rack, you can play it as well as you play it, but at the end, you should always keep that focus up until the last ball. No matter how hard, how easy it is, it would just be a shame to yourself and to your game and to all the effort that you put in on that rack to just miss it on such a avoidable mistake. So again, these throwout racks are completely easy. They're not meant to be difficult by any means. We're not trying to create problem balls on the table. Our main objective here is to get through to the 9 without missing. So we just want to make sure that we are establishing our fundamentals and making sure that our position play and our cue ball control are sound and there's nothing weird. I try to get fancy here, and that's what happens. That's what happens when you get out of position off of a ball in hand. That's what happens when you don't get on the right side of the object ball to get towards the next ball. And that's what happens when you kind of have to stray away from the center of the table. So you want to avoid that as much as possible. Obviously, at the end of the day, we do what we can, but it's just important to keep it as simple as possible. I used the 7 ball there as a target to get down for the 4 on that little angle off the 3, but I just happened to get behind that 7. I had to go forward here because I think I was a little bit off angle, but as much as I'm far away from the 5, I still have a good angle here to get down for the 6. Same premise here. As much as I would have loved to have gotten closer to the 6 or closer to the center of the table, I still maintain a good angle here to get out for the 7. So don't be afraid of distance as long as you have the angle. Get a little bit more distance here, but I could go up here with a little bit of high left just to bring it out towards the right side to make that 8 into that side pocket. Again, the shortest distance traveled your cue ball can go, the more consistent you'll be, and the more these shots will become easier and consistently made. Those last 3 shots were far and not ideal in regards to where I wanted it on the table, but the important thing was to maintain a good angle so that that cue ball can move in a more natural state, just applying just a little bit of high, a dime's worth of left or right, and we get there anyways. So nothing flashy, nothing fancy, just trying to be as consistent as much as possible. Pull up those pants. I've been losing a little bit of weight recently, so that's nice. One of my favorite shirts that I own. Bought that for maybe 15 bucks at a thrift store, and I think it looks fantastic. All right, back to the commentary here. We went around to look at what angle we needed for the 3, because as much as this is an easy shot on the 2, what I tend to always do when I practice is I always leave myself really straight on the ball. So I always try and find a way to at least maneuver that cue ball just a little bit so that I'm not in a, I don't have a straight shot on most of my object balls. Didn't hit this shot right because I think I put a little bit more side English on that, which didn't bring it out towards the center of the table. If I just hit pure top on that, that would have went back straight to kind of where the cue ball is now. We're gonna run around 2 rails, make sure we avoid the 8. That's kind of a natural feel 2 rail shot. Again, it's going towards that center of the table, which is super important. Here, I'm trying to apply the same concept, but my adrenaline kind of kicks in and I hit this way too hard. Doesn't seem like it, but in actuality, if you think about it, that ball should have stopped 2 feet ago. So it's not about hitting it with velocity, it's hitting it with the right and the correct speed. So you can still hit it hard and have it not necessarily travel at speeds that are lightning fast. But hitting it hard on a pool table is essentially ensuring that you're giving yourself enough space or targeting the right part of the table for you to land that cue ball at. Decide to go a little bit daring here. play a little bit of a fun shot. 6 into the side with a little bit of low right to hit off the 8 to keep it down for the 7. Repositioning the 8 to the top side of the table. Here I have the 7 ball here, and instead of trying to guess and making sure that I avoid both of those top corner pockets and going 3 rails around instead of going up 1 rail, either left or right, and avoiding any kind of scratch at that point. Here I remind myself in my head to really hit this hard or firm, because I tend to hit that pretty soft because I think I have more angle than I have. But obviously those are one of those, my eyes were hungrier than my stomach cases, because yeah, it's important that you get to that side of the 9. So overhitting is never going to be a problem in that shot, but underhitting would have put me in a world of hurt. And no one likes to be in a world of hurt, unless you're glutton for punishment, but that's another topic altogether. Here we are again, throwing out the balls on the table. You know, the most important part about running out a rack or a run out in general is that you give yourself the best opportunity at the start of your run out to ensure that everything else is set up properly. So foundation is everything, foundation is key. I definitely overstroked that. I was stretched out over the table, didn't really have too much of a grip, and I kind of poked at that too. Got a good draw on it, but what's a good draw if it's not necessary? So here I was trying to think maybe I can stun it off to the side and bring it back towards the center of the table, but instead I decided to roll forward, risk of bumping into the 4, because essentially the 5 ball is in front of a pocket. It's not an impossible position shot on this 4. It's just a matter of getting a chance to pocket this 4 while minimizing the risk of missing that 3. The 3 was the easy shot, but the position to the 4 was not, considering the different options I had to get that cue ball down there. So I was really happy with that decision altogether. Here I used the 9 as a target to make sure I got on the correct side of the 6. Unfortunately, whenever you use an object ball as a target, you always want to try and miss it altogether. But you want to miss it on the right side, and if you do hit it, you want to hit it full. I did not hit it full, I hit it on the wrong side, and I got caught a little bit behind it, but I was able to kind of do like a mini jump to kind of still pocket the 6, which is why you saw all that spin on the cue ball there. Here I got caught a little flat. Notice how hard I struck that cue ball, and it barely moved. That happens a lot when you're flat. So what you really want to do is just focus on pocketing the ball and just stroking as naturally and as calmly as you possibly can through the shot. Because it's not every day you're striking the ball at such a high velocity. Here my adrenaline went crazy again and I overstroked, but I'm happy to let my stroke out if it means that the shot is a little bit more accurate because of it. If I kind of slow rolled that and try to hold it onto that side of the table for the 9 in the side, I might have missed the 8, and at that point I would have sold out. Sold out the 9 anyway here, but you know what? At the end of the day, selling out is fine. Actually, it's not. I hate selling out. But, you know, it's just important to note that it's not about playing perfect. It's not about understanding how to go about, you know, things in a way that you feel like you're supposed to. It's just that you're playing the right shots more often than not. Here you have two options. You can either stun it over for the 3 or go high. I like going high. I feel like you can always control the cue ball a little bit better on that high ball than you can the stun. A lot of people like to naturally play with draw, which is fine. I think that's kind of totally cool because you feel like you have a little bit more control. But when it comes to having pinpoint position, for me, I love playing with a little bit of top because I can let that stroke out. I can let the cue ball kind of run a little bit, and it doesn't feel like I have to be so precise, so mechanical about it. So I play a stop shot there. I kind of want to play a stop shot here because I know I don't need that much angle on the 5. I just need a little bit to get back up towards the center of the table. So by playing a stop shot there, I have a little bit of a cut into the pocket from here. I don't really have to cheat it. I just have to play a nice smooth stroke on this. So a little bit of high left. And I actually overstroked it by a lot. I'm on the wrong side of the 6 here. But again, as long as it doesn't sacrifice the accuracy of the shot that you're currently taking, it's kind of okay, because then you could just play a recovery shot like this, and essentially you're back in line. But what happens is here, once you get out of line, it now feels like an uphill climb. Like, I made a great shot on the 5, I overhit it, tried to play a recovery shot on the 6, I'm here on the 7 now, and I'm over the 8, I have to get back down table, and it's a miss. Can't be too mad at yourself regarding that because, you know, you made the shots that you were supposed to make prior to that. You were just out of line by a little bit, so you can't fault yourself for that and thinking, oh my gosh, I can't believe I messed that run out. Like, nope, not at all. Because you did what you had to do. And if we could make every shot on the table, then we would probably play this game more often than not, or it would not be as fun. Another important note is if you can't get close to your object ball that you're trying to make, and let's just say that 9 ball, right? I had a flat angle on the 8 and I could have tried to go fancy and get close to that 9 ball, but if you don't feel comfortable or confident enough to get down close to the 9 ball proximity wise, you want to try and find a straight angle to make that shot so much easier. So I left myself distance, but I was able to just, you know, play that angle as straight as I possibly can to make that 9 ball a little bit easier, less stressful. No one likes a difficult 9 at all. The nerve and the pressure of going through an entire rack and then you have the hardest shot being the 9 is probably one of the worst feelings. So do as much as you can to mitigate that as much as possible. Early women's WPBA matches from ESPN, their #1 commentary to a lot of the players at the time was, don't get that cue ball on the rail. The cue ball on the rail is probably one of the most limiting shots that you have or that you can afford yourself. So as much as possible, avoid being on that side rail if you can. That's why I always try and emphasize the importance of being on the center of the table, because you can reach it, you have more options, and your cue ball shouldn't have to travel that far if you're at the center already. Don't know what happened there. Overstroked the 2. Feeling like I'm really forcing the cue ball around the table now versus actually finding an easy pattern that kind of works out. I always tell myself whenever I feel like I'm in a funk or that I feel like I'm overstroking or that I'm doing too much is to just simplify your strokes, simplify your strategy, and, you know, find that balance of getting back in a headspace that gets you back to pocketing balls again. The worst thing you can do when you're playing a long set or when you're playing just a set in general where you have to string together multiple games is feeling like you have to do so much more than what's being asked of you. It's good to just, go back to basics, go back to where you feel most comfortable at, and start from there. Every time you're at the table, it's a brand new start to wherever you're at, whatever the score line is. It's your responsibility, and you have to hold yourself accountable to really kind of getting yourself back in line, because otherwise you're just going to continue to be in a headspace where, oh, I feel like I got to catch up, or I feel like I have to do a little too much, or I feel like I have to kind of show that I'm still in the match. And that's, no one cares. Like, no one is thinking that. They want you to implode. They want you to kind of go crazy. So don't allow yourself to get crazy. Just relax your stroke. Start cueing back towards the center of the cue ball. There, that was just natural high ball again there. We afforded ourselves a nice natural 2-rail. The only thing that we have to really figure out is the speed. So just let the natural angle of the left hand English just take this back up towards the 9. And we are great. Thank you guys so much again for joining me on this 9-ball practice session. I hope to do more of these soon, so I appreciate you taking the time. We'll see you guys. Bye-bye. If you guys like that video, go ahead and like, comment, and subscribe for more videos like you just watched. And we'll see you in the next one.